What's up, everybody? No, I'm not turning it off color. It's just my lights. I don't feel like reaching down there and unplugging them. Uh, I had somebody ask me before about how I made little things bounce on my music videos and different little things, and it's just too much to try to explain through, like, say, a messenger or email. Or at least I feel it is. So I'm doing a video now. I got one song I need to make a video for, so I figured it was a good opportunity to show how this is done, or how I do it. I'm not anywhere trained in Adobe After Effects. I am trained in Adobe Photoshop, but that came later as part of my coursework in college, but I've had years of experience of just personal playing with Photoshop. Kind of like how I learned what I do in After Effects. I want to do one thing, then I go look it up on YouTube. That's how I learned. Then I start playing with it. So, making a video, this is what I do in Adobe After Effects to make my music videos with a reacting, moving thing and the audio spectrum that goes down at the bottom. So hopefully you can follow along. I'm waiting until the end. I'm going to put the little type in codes if it does not show big enough. I'm going to put those codes right at the end so you can actually see bigger of what I do. Just write them down, something, and you'll be good. Here we go. This is Adobe After Effects, and this is how it looks whenever I open it up. And I'm going to have to change some things here. First, I got to go over to Project. And down here is on the render queue. I got to go over to where it says None, another project aspect. So, I'm going to need stuff for this. Go into this project window here, right click, import, file, and have standard video items that I put in. I got some new things. That's one video that I already did. And I also have, I set up a folder for the project I'm going to work on. That's just a meme, so don't worry about that. That's the background I want to use. That's the music I want to use. So let's go ahead and grab those. I'll click on one, then I'll hit Control on the keyboard and hit the other one. Have it open them. And there they are over here. What I'll do first is take the MP3, my MP3 file, my music file, and drag it down here to this None board. Boom. It gives it the name. And the reason why I do this first is because it sets the time right through here. So the video is going to be as long as the song. There it is. I don't have to adjust anything. So now I'm going to back up to this panel here, the project panel, and get the rest of my elements. And I got some new elements I'm going to add, but this is about showing you how I mainly make my videos. Now, set a background. I'm starting to do this with all my new music that I create. This background here, which shows off the cadence at the side. Then here's the thing that I make bounce, the cadence music. So we're going to do that. And all I did was right click to multi-select, or not right click, excuse me, hit Control and left click so I can multi-select and bring it right in. So first off, I am going to grab my cadence music. Nah, we'll do the cadence background. Here's my background. Now you see it's a little big. And I use my mouse wheel to go in and out. So it's actually the right size. In this view screen, it looks big, but the overall panel, it is just the right size. Now on top of that, I want the background for the song, which I believe is this one. I'll drag it, and I need it to be above it, because if it's just down at the bottom, you don't see it. I need it to be up above so you can see that. Now, since I got it selected, I'm going to move it so parts of it are not seen, but it's opening up my background. And I could do this in Photoshop to make a thumbnail image, but I just wanted to show it here, show that you can move things. And while it's selected, all I'm doing is my arrow keys. I'm not using the mouse on it because I want to keep it in line top and bottom. I just want to change to the left, right. There. That looks good to me. Now, I usually have the bouncy Kadns music. That's this one. I'm going to drag it down on top of that also. And there you go. I just need it in position. Since I am going to usually have a little visual down here, I keep it up in the corner. Let's see, maybe resize it a little bit. So right about there. Now, all these elements are in place. I'm going to start off with how to make this bounce to the music. How I make this react. I believe it is actually called audio reaction. So first off, you got to go to your music. Make sure it's highlighted. Then right click. Keyframe Assistant. Convert audio to keyframes. And over here it is actually doing that. It's making the frame for each section of the video. And this is going to get a little bit more involved, and I see it's done. Now this is going to get a little bit more involved. So here we go. Now the audio amplitude, this is a new layer that comes up right to the top. That's going to be your keyframes and such. Now hit this drop down arrow that's beside all of them to open this little panel up. Effects, drop it down. What I usually do is eliminate the left and right channels because I'm going to be using both channels. I highlight it, click delete on the keyboard. Click delete on the keyboard after highlighting the right channel. That leaves me with both channels. It's the one I want to use. Hit that drop down, you'll see a slider. Right there, slider. Now you got to find your element that you want to react, which is the Kadns music, and I will drop down and open it up. Here comes the transform panel. And there. How to make it do like I do in the videos is the scale. Now you see this little, looks almost like a stopwatch. Yeah, Tom Berry stopwatch. Get your cursor over that, but press Alt then left click. That drops down this expression scale and opens up this little area for you to put in values. What you want to be concerned with is this little pickwick right here. Let me move this over so you can see it. The second one from the right. Left click and drag to slider. Now, it sets a value right in here, this temp. What you'll have to do, since this controls the scale, it has no values in there. So you need to kind of put some in. What I do is I usually space then I hit the plus sign, then I hit this what do you call it, bracket, 100, comma, 100, then close the bracket. Now that gives it a value of 100% to the X and Y values from what I understand. It made the image bigger. So what I could do, if it was too big, if it raised it back up too big, I go back to that line. There's the values. I'll just change the values. Say 80 and 80. Just to keep everything symmetrical. Then I click outside of there and boom, takes it back down smaller. And you're not done there. What you have to do now, and you can collapse this back up, you gotta go back up to audio amplitude. That little stopwatch there, again, Alt left click. And it says affects both channels. This is where you gotta kind of play with it. The video I've seen changing it to graph right here showed numbers that you could use, but whenever on mine, for some reason, let's see if it'll come up. Yeah, I really can't see all that, and I've tried changing scale and all that. You got 500 units, 0 units, negative 500 units. I don't know how to change the scale to get in further to see where the bass hits are, because that's where I want it to boom, then the logo gets bigger. Let me close that back out. And my screen recorder just cut off on me. So we're back at it. We're still at the same level. You're going to have to type a certain command in here. Reason is, you see how that logo is reacting to everything. I don't want it to do that. So in here, I highlight it because I'm going to erase all that basically. So highlight it, you start typing, it goes away. I will type ease, then the bracket that's above the number 9, value, comma, and I'll put in zeros from here. 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, comma, 0. Then I'll go to the close bracket, which is above the number 0, and close it out. Now these are your commands. The last two, you want to give the logo a bounce. So you want it to react from a 0 to 100, or maybe even 80, we'll see. I usually just play with it as I go along instead of explaining it. 0 to 100 reaction to the audio. The first two digits are what levels of the audio do you want it to react to. Now just by me making these videos, I kind of know about where to start. And I'll put in 15 to 80. So 15, comma, 80, comma, 0, comma, 100. Click out here so it takes it in. And if you get anything wrong, like miss a bracket or something, it will tell you. It'll have like a big message box right up here. You just click OK, then go back in, change it, get it correct. So now let's look at this. Kind of scrolling along. I'll just find a spot right through here. And I'll go up to the RAM preview. Now with RAM preview, you get no sound. Click it. Yeah, it looks like it's doing pretty good. Bouncing enough to give it notice. So I'm cool with that. So that's how I make that emblem bounce. Now for the audio spectrum that I usually put down here, let's get into that. I'll collapse audio amplitude because I don't need it anymore. I'm all finished with that. Down here, you want to right click, new, solid. You can rename it to like audio spectrum, whatever you want. I just know what it is. Dark red solid 1. Okay, that's the one I'm going to mess with. And as you see, it covers the whole thing up. That's okay. Make sure it's highlighted by left clicking on dark red solid 1, right click, go up to effect, over to generate, then there's audio spectrum. Left click on it. Now there's your audio spectrum. I'm going to zoom in here. And you got 2 endpoints which are movable. I just take them and move them about where I want first. And you see you can make it angled and all that good stuff. That looks about level to me. You also have all your settings for the audio spectrum here. So let's get into what I do. And you can play with it however you want. Don't mess with the start point or end point. Start frequency, end frequency. The end frequency is what I usually mess with, but I'll do it a little bit later. The number of frequency bands, that's these little ticks that are right here. I changed that from the standard 64. Let's see, anywhere from 200 to 250. I'm going to go to, yeah, somewhere around 200. Right there. I'm not messing with the height yet. I'm just getting the stuff that I need to do first, that I usually do first. So frequency bands, the next thing I usually go to is the thickness. From 3 up to, I go about 5. And it's 5.3, okay, that's fine. Softness, move that from 50% to 100. Then on this hue interpolation, left click and drag it all the way down. So there's my first steps with the audio spectrum. Now, the next thing I'll go is the maximum height. I'll find a spot. Oh, let me back up. Before you start going to the height, let me say that the audio spectrum's got to know where the audio's at. I should have shown this first, but I'm here now. Right up here, audio layer, is just saying dark red solid. Click the drop down, find your actual music, which is this one. Now it reads off of it. And you see there's a little change over here. So I'll RAM preview again from here just to see how big it is. It's not really that big. There, find about the biggest point. Go back to maximum height. Now move it. That's pretty good. Just take it up a little bit more. Just whatever your personal liking is. Now see, this is the full spectrum. If you see, it does not get a lot of action right through here, and you can make that a little bit bigger by doing this. Let me stop the RAM preview. There's the end frequency. Take that from 2000 down. Now look at it. It's starting to get a little bit more action. This is at 800. Get a little bit more action, bigger action through here. Now if it's got a lot of highs, you could change that back out to a higher number. This looks pretty good to me for the amount of action, just for a quick video. That's all I think I need. Let me zoom it back out. Everything looks good to me so far. RAM preview it again. Alright, so that's the basis of how I do it. And if you don't know, once you're done, I'll click down in here, whatever. Go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. I'll just show this. I'll go ahead and do this. Now to get it on to YouTube standards, Output Module. Right here it says Lossless. I'll take that drop down and now we'll change it to a H.264. If it'll change it. One thing that you got to be careful of, let's see, I think it's this. My setting's already set, so it automatically does it. I clicked on that H.264. It should bring up the options. Make sure this audio output is checked. I use these settings. And if you got to change it, there's drop downs and all that. Make sure that is checked or you will get a video with zero sound. You'll have a video reacting and everything, but you will have zero sound to it. And I think at the end of this, yeah, I'll put up a screen with the commands that I typed in to make the audio react on the Kadns logo, so you can see it bigger. I'm not sure if you can really see it that well of what I've done, but I'll put the commands at the very end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. Like and subscribe if you want. Click the bell if you want to see when I put up new videos. And you all have a good day.